I'm fully prepared with everything I need for the Jay-Z documentary. The moment he sent that legal letter, I knew I had to let the world see who he really is. He and Diddy are cut from the same cloth. He just hides his arrogance and control behind a cleaner image. Our feud has lasted 20 years, and I know better than anyone what he's done in the shadows. I even suspect that so-called funeral bouquet wasn't Diddy's idea at all, but Jay-Z acting on his behalf. Back when Nicki Minaj posted that video of him wearing a pink wig, all I did was repost it, and he got so nervous he had his lawyers threaten me. In 2015, Nicki worked her ass off helping him build his platform, and he allegedly pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. And then there's his fingerprints all over key incidents through the years, whether it's the elevator footage or the guest list at Diddy's parties. He was involved, clearly, but somehow he always walks away untouched. That's what he's best at, pulling strings behind the scenes while pretending to be spotless in public. And now that a corner of the darkness has been ripped open, I'm not stopping. Everything my team and I are doing isn't about attacking anyone. It's about making sure the truth can't be buried by him ever again.
He ain't answering the phone? He ain't answering the motherfucking phone. Hey, it's like this, like
we had a black billionaire's lunch.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch.
Oh,
Like,
I hate you, man.
And we here together, and we're gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Jay-Z is now under intense pressure after reports surfaced, claiming that private messages between him and Diddy may have been exposed, sending shockwaves through the internet. This development puts Jay-Z in an uncomfortable spotlight, as long-standing rumors have circulated about his close ties with Diddy and involvement in highly questionable situations. With these alleged communications now being discussed publicly, old accusations are resurfacing, narratives are being re-examined, and the situation is escalating fast, creating a storm that could seriously challenge Jay-Z's public image and legacy.
Sean Carter aided and abetted or was directly involved. It's about to get real tense, and there's a lot of girls and boys who are still trapped inside them.
In past interviews, 50 made it clear that he never aligned himself with Diddy's inner circle, explaining that certain invitations and environments raised red flags for him early on, prompting him to keep his distance. That separation, he says, is exactly why he feels comfortable speaking openly today. When the allegations later surfaced, 50 stated that he found out the same way the public did through news reports, and while the revelations were serious, he emphasized that none of it came as a shock to him.
Jaguar Wright explained that Jay-Z is worse than Diddy. She explained how Jay-Z has done worse things than what Diddy did to Cassie to other females. And she said that she has the scars to prove it. She alleged that at one time Jay-Z attacked her and got it on film like Diddy did. And she alleged that this is why Jay-Z is totally pulling away from Diddy and you don't see him around. And it's been alleged for quite a while that Jay-Z is pulling away from Diddy because he doesn't want himself caught in the crossfire. I mean, you even have 50 Cent at this point talking about how Jay-Z is in hiding while this whole Diddy thing blows over. And you even have these accusations of Jay-Z being responsible for what happened to Cassie White. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of everything that Jag had to say about Jay-Z being worse than Diddy. And you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit yet. That Cassie shit, that's nothing. I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And they're going to be crazy. It's going to be the women that get them in the end.
As the investigation expanded, the spotlight gradually moved toward Jay-Z, with many questioning why he remained silent while events surrounding Diddy continued to unravel. That quiet approach only fueled suspicion, leading some to believe his team was aware his name had surfaced in civil matters and was attempting to control the narrative early. Others feared that even without formal charges, the impact on his reputation was already taking hold, and social media intensified the situation, spreading unverified claims and amplifying speculation at a pace that made the damage feel immediate and unavoidable.
Exactly what Jay-Z's accuser is saying, that even though she dropped the lawsuit, she still stands by what she says, and she only dropped it because of harassment and the fact that she's terrified of Jay-Z. She says that Jay-Z is allegedly bullying her into saying that her accusations were false. In fact, in new legal documents, she is claiming that she was recently approached outside of her home and cornered by two people who told her they were investigators working for one of Jay-Z's lawyers. She claims they tried to get her to sign an affidavit stating that her art claims against Jay-Z were false, but she refused. Jane Doe also claims the alleged investigators asked her if her attorney, Tony Busby, sought her out as a client and offered her money to pursue false claims against Jay-Z, two allegations she says she denied. He says this alleged confrontation left her intimidated and terrified, wondering how they found her when her identity had remained anonymous in media reports and legal proceedings. He also claims that her parents were approached by two investigators asking similar questions about Busby and her R story. In the new documents, she reveals she decided to drop the claim because she was frightened by the reaction from Jay-Z and his supporters. She says she feared she would be publicly outed and subjected to public.
Industry insiders warned that even a single criminal investigation could upend everything, not just for Diddy, but for anyone perceived as closely connected to him, which is why many say 50's documentary carries real weight. It's not framed as an attack on one individual, but as an examination of how influence operated behind closed doors, who may have known what, and how accountability can spread once scrutiny begins. Commentators have also questioned how Diddy remained insulated for so long, with some suggesting his protection came from surrounding himself with powerful allies and tightly managing narratives as rumors circulated. Amid that speculation, reports emerged claiming Diddy may be cooperating with authorities in an effort to improve his position, a move that, according to unverified claims, could involve sharing information about others in his orbit, further intensifying concern across the industry.
Will Diddy start snitching?
He better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White. See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Diddy, I know that. You and Jay-Z down in Vegas at Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help. That might help a lot. Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby while he was married to Beyonce. Was it an aneurysm, Diddy? Or are you the one who paid the same coroner that you... Oh, Diddy, you should talk.
Now that the documentary is officially out, one thing stands out clearly: this story isn't trapped in the past. It's shaping what comes next. With every new detail released, attention sharpens on those who chose silence, and Jay-Z is increasingly at the center of that focus. The renewed scrutiny matters because his history with Diddy spans decades, making claims of distance harder for critics to accept. That tension grew louder when Gene Deal openly challenged statements from Jay-Z's legal team, suggesting the two were never truly close, arguing that the narrative didn't align with what many inside the industry had long observed. As voices grow bolder and timelines are re-examined, the pressure continues to build, turning quiet associations into questions that refuse to fade.
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it, but I don't know what kind of half a homo that is. And you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
I ain't know anything about that, man. I ain't know about, Jay touching his, ass. I got to go see the video. I ain't hear about that.
Come on, man. Everybody's seen that. 50 even pointed it out. Excuse me. When they was in ATL on stage. Remember when 50 bum rushed the stage with them?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
When Puff came on stage, first thing he did was pat Jay-Z on that. But I forgot. That's your favorite rapper.
Hey, him and Pocket's 1A, 1B. But what's your issue with Jay, man? I didn't know you had an issue with him.
I'm never a fan of somebody that I was going to knock out.
To Gene, the ease and familiarity between Jay-Z and Diddy spoke volumes about the depth of their connection. A moment that stood out occurred during a show in Atlanta. When Diddy brought Jay-Z on stage, fans immediately noticed the natural, effortless chemistry between them. Even 50 Cent later highlighted the clip, keeping it alive and widely shared online. When asked whether he held a personal grudge against Jay-Z, Gene clarified it wasn't about fandom or bias. He recounted a past incident where tensions had flared, only for Jay-Z to seemingly forget it later, a behavior Gene described as typical of some at the top, who navigate high-stakes situations, stir conflict, and then move on as if it never happened, operating in a world completely detached from everyday realities.
That's how these guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they done because they on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you got to understand, like now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating a nigga in his early 30s? You're not going to go for that. No matter what she came through in Hollywood. But you got to understand, guys who was around there, we didn't know Jay-Z them ages. We didn't know these cats' age. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having no beards and nothing like that. They was wearing low cuts. You understand? Clean face. I would have never believed when Jay was coming around the block, scooping up the young girls and stuff like that he was 30 years old. If they 17, 18, 16 years old and they 22, you thinking they 22, 23, something like that, 24 years old? They mom and them need to check them. They daddy and them need to check them. But that's not that far off. But for somebody to be 30 years old in their 30s and they dealing with kids 16 years old, 17, 18 years, now that's a problem. That's an issue. And now he see that because he's raising kids. And he got a young daughter. I think he got another daughter that he didn't claim and now he claiming them. These cats was doing a whole lot of stuff that people in the industry won't speak on. And then now that you're speaking on it and it's becoming where is that you can get on YouTube and you could talk about this shit and say what you seen or say what you heard, you understand, or what you know. Some people look at it being a problem. But these cats ain't street cats. They entertain us.
Dame Dash, once Jay-Z's closest ally, recently weighed in on the serious allegations swirling around him, noting that what struck him most wasn't just the claims themselves, but the intensity of the public reaction. According to Dame, he had never witnessed Jay-Z endure this level of scrutiny before decades of influence had made him seem untouchable, particularly in mainstream media. Now, however, that shield appeared to be cracking, exposing a side of Jay-Z to public examination that few had ever seen, and signaling a shift in how even the most powerful figures can be held accountable under the spotlight.
Getting looked at in that way by white people, you know, like Jay does, you know. Yeah, like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they turned the world real. Like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media. You know, like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him. You know, but like, you know, Drink Champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne, because you know, those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he does anyway. So he got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now because they on his head. But the question is why? Like why now? You know, because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous. Yo, take that to trial. She's not going to win. Let's get a deposition or something, you know? So I don't know why they on his head so much, pause, but I never seen him, you know, under this, you know, I never seen him in this position to have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, you know, like I said, for me, I like, you see, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, you know, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him. If he is innocent, he needs to let people ask him questions, and he needs to be able to say his side of the story.
What surprised Dame most was seeing Jay-Z in a position he rarely occupies, defensive, and under constant pressure, a scenario almost unheard of outside a few isolated moments in his long career. For decades, Jay-Z has rarely had to justify himself publicly, making this intense scrutiny all the more striking. Meanwhile, questions arise about why 50 Cent seems so intent on exposing him, and the Diddy connection alone doesn't fully explain it. Tony Yayo sheds light on the deeper context, noting that tension between 50 and Jay-Z stretches back years and is rooted in rivalry and questions of loyalty. Hip-hop has always been fiercely competitive, egos clash and conflicts flare, but growth and maturity do happen. Yayo highlighted a recent performance where 50 took the stage with Dr. Dre and Cameron joined him, and old tension set aside, showing personal growth. Cameron himself noted that Jay-Z prioritizes business over culture, a point Yayo acknowledged, observing that Jay-Z consistently attends major corporate events, yet often skips hip-hop moments that carry weight for artists like 50 Cent, fueling perceptions of imbalance and leaving lingering questions about priorities and allegiance.
I don't think I would have said that he didn't know Puff at all or wasn't his friend. I thought that was a little extreme. I thought that was the wrong choice of words. I think that's going to trigger a lot of backlash. But the thing is, I never seen him get backlash at all. So that's what I'm saying. Now he getting backlash. Like, when did you know Jay-Z to be on his heels other than when he got beat up in the elevator? But that was nothing. But I've never seen him under the fire ever. Not in a long time. Not like, I've never seen people on his head like that, Paul. Ever.
Yeah, this might be my first time seeing people come at him like this.
Like I said, I didn't hear him say anything. Like, I'm not some white man speaking for another black man doesn't add up. It just doesn't work like that. Like, he doesn't know what to say on Jay's behalf. Jay would have to say that. So if he instructed him to say that, like, you don't even know if Jay told him to say that. He could have got off the stage and they was like, why'd you say that? He was like, I had to. You know, like, he probably said it because homeboy wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Like, I didn't hear him say anything. I haven't heard Jay say a word yet. Have you?
Nah, I haven't heard him say anything.
There it is. So y'all going by a piece of paper with words. Don't get caught up in that. I have not heard him say one thing yet. You know? Until I see him speak, he hasn't spoke to me. That's why I said I don't think he did not say that. His lawyer said it. So what else is a lawyer gonna say? You know what I'm saying?
Yayo highlighted a key difference between Jay-Z and 50 Cent: approachability. While Jay-Z operates at the highest levels of power, he keeps a noticeable distance, whereas 50, equally influential, stays present and connected, showing loyalty to those who helped him rise. Yayo stressed that artists should never forget the people who built the foundation for their success. One moment that left a lasting impression on him involved the Super Bowl halftime show. Jay-Z reportedly didn't want 50 Cent included, and it took Eminem stepping in, insisting he wouldn't perform unless 50 was part of it, for the situation to be resolved. To Yayo, this wasn't just a business decision. It felt deeply personal, reflecting the tensions and unspoken rivalries that have shaped their complicated history.
When Yayo was locked up, every G-Unit show, we actually put aside the money.
Bro, I told
for him, and he had like Yayo had like $1 million.
Right. I just told you, when I came out of my building, I see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
There was no way I was getting shot there. And this is what I kind of tell you is like, when we was talking about stacks with the Porsche, 50's not going to let you say, get the Porsche. He going to say, let's get him out the hood first. You know, if the money's there, but the money has to be there for you to live like that. The money's there. 50 didn't have to do that. Rest in peace to Hervé from Interscope, because he always said to me, man, 50 do more for you than any artist, than anybody does for their artists. More than Jay-Z. Young Guns was right there.
Over time, the bond between Jay-Z and Diddy reportedly began to fracture, with insiders noting that trust issues emerged and concerns grew over who would look out for themselves if situations turned sour. Some even allege that Jay-Z had a hand behind the scenes in Diddy's decline, a claim Jaguar Wright has publicly made, though it remains unverified. This tension underscores how quickly alliances can shift at the top, where loyalty is fragile and power dynamics can change in an instant.
Speaking of Cameron,
yeah,
he made a statement recently. He said that Jay-Z loves money more than hip-hop. And he pointed out that Jay-Z performed at Tom Brady's Hall of Fame ceremony, but he didn't perform in any Hip-Hop 50 events.
I mean, Jay-Z's on a whole nother level. Like, I mean, you know, he's like, but you know what I like about 50? 50's on a whole nother level, but he's still approachable. You still get to meet the people and you know, Jay got to remember the people that made him. You know, I'm not saying I don't got respect. I respect Jay-Z, 50, used to respect, you know, Diddy, but all that crazy shit going on. But, you know, I always respected him because I looked at, for New York, those were like the guys. You know what I'm saying? The guys with the most money and the most influence. So with Jay is like, when the last time you haven't seen Jay. So I think people are just going to say that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I mean, Jay, you know, you got to remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. I'm like,
wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl?
Know that? Yeah, he didn't want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hater shit. Yeah,
I remember Eminem was like, I'm not going to do it unless 50 does it. I heard that.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that Jay was trying to stop it.
I don't think Jay. I don't know. 50 never told me that, but I don't think Jay wanted him there. I don't know
because of what some of the.
I mean,
back
you know,
forth,
it's competition. You got to think 50 always been competition for Jay. Remember, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 Cent?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was what 9. What was that? 9.
But after that, they did a song together. Remember the whole
50 was always competition for niggas. Then remember Jay said, yo, 50's coming. He told Siegel and them and Memphis Bleak and all them.
Yeah.
And come on, 50's like, he's on a whole nother level. You got to remember, he came after niggas. He came after Jay and Rockefeller. G-Unit came. And people might shit on G-Unit, but with Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, nobody has outsold us, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody has had the...
Roger Bonds, Diddy's former head of security, offered insight into the relationship from an insider's perspective. According to Roger, while he witnessed Jay-Z and Diddy interacting, he never perceived them as truly close. In his view, Diddy seemed to believe their bond was stronger than it really was, highlighting a gap between perception and reality in high-profile relationships, where appearances often mask the truth.
Goes into boardrooms and says to people, which I will never say, is he says, it's important for me to be a billionaire, because Black people need to be billionaires. And why does specifically he, at that time, I've had this conversation with white money people when they go, it's important that Jay-Z becomes a billionaire. And I go, why? And they said, because he wants to open up a casino. He wants to open up this. He should have an alcoholic brand. He needs to have a casino. He needs to have this. And you're like, why the fuck does anybody need a casino? Like another fucking casino
money
in this world.
And it makes it very possible for people to launder money all day.
Yeah. So like, why, even the fact that you want to become so powerful, then you're not saying because he needs to build schools for Black people in Black neighborhoods. It's because he wanted to build casinos for Black people.
For them to keep wasting their money, and then for him to keep getting them overpriced merchandise. It's a rat trap.
Yeah.
All of it is. The sad part is that hip hop has now turned itself over to this greed machine.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Acceptable monster.
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
From his perspective, Jay-Z and Diddy were never as close as the public assumed. While they shared wealth, influence, and opportunities, true loyalty was missing, and over time, those gaps became impossible to overlook. Now, with everything unfolding publicly, the question remains: will those cracks continue to widen, threatening to consume both of them? Share your thoughts in the comments below.